Okay, so let's talk about 7 ways to prep your partner for birth. Because I know that due to the pandemic, there are new hospital restrictions going up all over the world where there are limits being placed on how many people can be in the birth room. You might be able to get your partner in the room depending on where you're located, but you may not be allowed to have your doula there if you are planning on having a doula. And that can create a lot of stress for the pregnant person, right? So, whether you hired a doula that can no longer be there or you don't have a doula to begin with, this is going to be important as you prepare to give birth right now, more than ever before. So, here are 7 ways that you can prep your partner for birth. Number one, watch documentaries. So, now that you're spending some time at home, maybe give Netflix a little break. And there's a couple of documentaries that I really, really suggest. They are a little bit more on the natural side. If that's not your jam, that's okay. You don't have to be planning a natural birth to appreciate the content and the information that's in these. So, one of them is The Business of Being Born. Another that you can watch is called These Are My Hours. And so, the woman in These Are My Hours is actually a doula who gives birth unassisted in her house, meaning mostly by herself, right? The second thing you can do is read a book. So if your partner is open to reading, there's a great book called The Birth Partner that is pretty comprehensive and gives a lot of information that they should know and can be really helpful going into, how to support you during birth. Number 3 is to take birth classes together from the sofa. So hospital classes are canceled. A lot of in-person birth classes are canceled all over the world. So an alternative is online classes. And so you guys are pretty familiar that I have online courses, one for first-time moms and a different one for C-section moms that are preparing to VBAC. But there are others out there. And my suggestion is to spend some time sitting and watching birth classes together so that your partner understands the physiological process of birth. I would especially urge you to find a class that has a segment that focuses on natural comfort measures, even if you're planning on getting an epidural as soon as possible. Because no matter what, there will be a period of time when you are laboring before you have a chance to get the drugs, if that's something that you're choosing to do. And with the restrictions and rules constantly changing, your birth plans might change. So it's never a bad idea to know what natural comfort techniques are available to you. If you check out my courses, there's a module called DIY Doula, Coping with Contractions. And so that is an entire class that's included in both versions of my course that focuses on how to, for birth partners, to teach birth partners how to doula the pregnant woman, right, during labor. So that's an option. Number 4, tell your partner what you want. So tell them what you want. After you watch those classes and you understand what the comfort measures are and what the techniques are that you can do naturally to help reduce your pain with contractions, decide which ones sit well with you. What feels like it's a good idea. For example, I don't like having my feet touched. So I probably would tell my husband before birth, like, hey, listen, we can try this and this is cool, but don't touch my feet, So you can think about what might make sense and communicate that, be very open. If there are certain phrases that resonate with you better than others, sometimes, your partner speaking phrases to you, or if your husband is comfortable, telling you, you're doing a great job, you've got this, you're doing a great job, you've got this, you're doing this. Think about which of those phrases, if there's some that you're absolutely like a hard no the first time you hear them, then, pay attention to that too. Number 5, give them the tools. So there are very simple tools that you can toss in your hospital bag that will help your partner support you during birth. Little things like handheld massagers, tennis balls for, lower back pain and pressure, bendable straws. There's just a lot of little things that we might not think about that can be super helpful. And side note, if you take the DIY doula class, there's a handout, there's a cheat sheet that you can print. It's printable, and you can throw it in your bag also. Another tool that you can print out from my classes are the labor position flashcards. Those are actually also available as a freebie in my freebie library. So head to the freebie library, download the flashcards. If you don't have a printer, it's okay. You can save them to your phone so that when you're in labor and when you're in the hospital, you have ideas on different positions that you can get into labor and really to push in. Number 6, have your partner download a contraction timer app. So now that he understands all about timing contractions, what contractions are, when they start, when they stop, the easiest thing that he can do to time your contractions to help you decide if you're in early labor, active labor, whatnot, is to just download the app. And number 7, give him your phone to take pictures and or videos during your birth. That's assuming that his hands aren't, really busy, like holding up your leg while you're pushing. But if your partner can, because chances are you might not be able to have a birth photographer during these times, but phone pictures are fantastic these days. Simple things like presets can edit photos, and really, even just regular shot camera photos are better than nothing during these times. You don't have to share them with anybody, and the beautiful thing about having them on your phone is that you have control over who sees which photos. And, this is something that I think you'll treasure for years to come. So I hope this was helpful. And again, be sure to head to the freebie library so you can download the labor position flashcards and save them to your camera roll.